So this is going to be a guide on the longsword. Excuse me if I clear my throat a lot during this video. I just drank so much milk. I mean, so much. It is my favorite beverage besides Long Island iced teas. Alright, so this is the Great Jagras, and this is the longsword. It's like rock, paper, scissors. Longsword beats Great Jagras. But, really, I'm going to be going over the combat a little bit while I go over this longsword. I'm not going to be taking this fight too seriously, especially since it just ran away from me. But as you can see from attacking the monster, it filled that gauge up over here, the one that's disappeared now that I brought up my menu. This gauge depletes over time. It also depletes when you use spirit attacks, which are things like swim, things like that. You can also sheath after finishing that combo and go into an attack. You can sheath after almost every attack, and then you can go like that. Can't sheath after that attack though. So, very helpful. You can do pretty cool attacks like this. Very important. So now that we're down here with this guy, silence. There's someone else here, isn't there? No, he was just behind me. Alright, so you can charge this up, or you can unleash a spirit gauge on any enemy. I'm about to. Even dead bodies. This attack I just used, the sheath into the double slash. Didn't get to take it off right there. But either of the hits you land will cause your bar to regenerate over time, as you could see from looking at the top. If you didn't see it, you can rewind it. That is a bounce. That happens when your weapon does not have enough sharpness. You can just sharpen your weapon simply by using the radial menu. Bring it up to yellow. So you can see pokes are the quickest attack, so they're very good for getting any other attack out. I missed that, but let's try that again. Nope, that's definitely not it. Well, this is a good time to explain pins. During certain enemy moves, they can actually pin you, and there are ways to get out of that, but I won't go into it right now. But just try to dodge the monster a lot. He's gonna run away, but you can see there's a lot of moves that this sword can do, and I haven't even gone through half of them. But we're gonna chase this guy down. I'm trying not to kill him too quickly, because this is really just me going over the weapon. But please leave, thank you. Alright, so you can build up your spirit gauge pretty quickly by doing that. Then, you know, like I just did it there, if you unleash that and you do that counter like I did, and you get hit while you're falling backwards like this, and you hit, you have to get hit and hit, you will negate all the damage through it, and it will level your sword up to yellow, which you can tell because you can't really tell too well right here. It has sort of a yellow glint to it. We're about to bring that up to red, but as you can see over here when I come out of this menu, the bar is now yellow. So that's one way to level up your bar, which gives you a damage buff, depending on what gauge you're in. And it's also important because there are moves that will completely deplete your gauge that are good to use. You use them on purpose. It'll deplete your gauge, but they're very high damage attacks. So this is the spirit gauge that levels up your thing to red. That move also has iframes. So as you can see, I used it to slash through. Let's see if I can do it again. Probably not. There we go. See, it's very good for just going straight through attacks. All right, now I'm going to wait for an opening, and I'm going to use the attack called Helmbreaker, which is very good. Does a lot of damage, as you can see right there, absurd amounts. And that is one of those moves that depletes your gauge. As you can see, I'm in yellow now, but I can get that up right quick like, and then go straight into another one, and I can do that on his head. 18s everywhere. It did less damage that time because I did lose a sharpness level. But yeah, very good damage move. This is mounting. Like I was talking about in the food video, you can mount by doing any attack out of the air. The monsters have a hidden threshold that allow them to be mounted at. As you saw, the first attack I didn't mount it, but the second attack I did. That is because that second attack went over the threshold. Now, you get to do a mount attack once you finish it out. And you can go straight into attacking. And it is dead. I didn't get to really show everything. There are some moves like... Come on, take me out of this so I can see. Yeah, well... That was most of it. But there are moves that are specifically designed around clutch clawing. Well, you clutch claw onto an enemy, and you press this, and it does your clutch attack. Now, because Longsword is considered a light weapon, you have to hit them twice with a clutch attack to weaken their body part. And I'll go more over weakened body parts in a video specifically about combat. But this is a good bit about how to use the Longsword. It's not a super in-depth guide, really, because I was fighting a Jagras. But it does teach you a couple of things about how the weapon works. The important parts of the weapon, how to do good damage, how to iframe out of things, how to dodge. You can dodge with a lot of things with this weapon. It has a lot of ways to get out of stuff. Its damage falls around the middle of the pack, which isn't a bad thing. It's completely viable, and it wouldn't be a bad kill cam if Jagras was not out of the screen. But that is that's the main part about how to use the weapon. It wasn't too complicated. It was less complicated than I thought it was going to be to explain. But that'll be it for the Longsword video for now. I would go over the actual controls to use them, but you will really just have to, and I'll show you this real quick at the end of the video. You can go into Hunter's Notes, and this is a very, very good thing for people new to the series. And then you can go to Weapon Controls, and it shows you all these weapons, all these things, all the controls that you use to do everything. See, mid combo means that you have to do an attack beforehand, so you can't just use that attack. You have to maybe poke beforehand, and that's why I said it was so important that the poke is so quick. The thrust is what it's called, and it'll build up less gauge, but it'll let you get into things like mid combo or after attack special thieves quicker. It goes through the spirit gauge. You hit monsters to fill the spirit gauge. You unleash spirit attacks. Roundhouses will change the gauge's color, increasing attack power. It increases your attack power for every single, when it's white gauged, all your attacks get a certain boost. When it's yellow gauged, all your attacks get a certain higher boost. When it's red gauged, it goes even further. This isn't that important because I really already explained it. Let me switch this back to controller controls. Slinger, that's kind of the same with every melee weapon, or every weapon that doesn't have to be aimed. Insect glaive does not count toward that. This is how you use Spirit Blade, this is how you attack, this is ignore that. That's... Oh, that is attack while moving. That's just a weird thing to call it. Spirit Thrust, that's the one that you do right before Helmbreaker. Let me see if it actually shows Helm. Okay, it does not show Helmbreaker on here, but regardless, you just keep tapping it, like, yeah. You just keep tapping triangle, and it'll do a Helmbreaker after your Spirit Thrust. Yeah, I went over the Clutch Claw, how you weaken body parts, how you do the Special Sheath, how you can only do it after an attack, and those are basically the controls for it. This is the eye slash. This is the one that. This is the double slash. It causes your spirit gauge to automatically increase when it connects. So, yeah, minor attacks will not hit you out of this attack. The double slash. Minor attacks will not hit you out of it, but you'll get knocked back out of major attacks. Now, this one, the one that was super cool, and you saw me, like, slice through the monster and a huge, like, line appeared across my screen whenever I connected it with the monster's attack. Time this with a monster attack to repeatedly connect with the attack to keep your spirit gauge up. Minor attacks will not hit you out of this attack. I don't think that, like, medium or like, higher attacks will knock you out of it either. You just have to time it perfectly. Yeah, it will cause the spirit gauge to decrease one level, which is kind of a bad thing about it. So generally you'll want to use Foresight Slash, because it will increase your gauge instead of decreasing it. But, you know, if you're already in a special sheath like this, because you were preparing to use your double slash, you're about to get attacked, you can time this correctly to get out of that. That's pretty much it for the Longsword, but decent guide, I guess. Not too complicated of a weapon.